Tamen, tot incommodis conflictati, multis vulneribus acceptis, resistebant, et magna parta diei consumpta, cum a prime luce ad horam octavum pugnaretur, nihil quod ipsis esset indignum committebant. Okay, Caesar starts us off with a giant clause marker. However, which is telling me dependent clause world, tot incommodis conflictati, tot, adverb, incommodis, ablative, conflictati. Oh, I bet you that modifies the subject of the sentence. It looks to be nominative plural. So, these guys having been bothered by so many inconvenient things, what about these guys having been bothered by so many inconvenient things? Oh, multis vulneribus acceptis? Oh, ablative absolute. You guys recognize that right away, right? Ablative noun, ablative participle. But wait a minute. We started a dependent clause way up here, and we haven't finished it, and we've got the main verb here. What could be happening? Maybe conflictati doesn't just mean having been conflicted, but maybe it should be conflictati sunt, although they were bothered. Oh, that would help to finish off that dependent clause, because you can't start one and start another, go into the main one without finishing it. So we're closing off that clause with an understood sunt. Although they were bothered by so many inconvenient things, so many Gauls chucking weapons at them. Okay, with many wounds having been accepted, they were resisting. Et magna parte diei consumpta. Hey, what's this? We've got an ablative adjective and an ablative noun, great part, and then an ablative participle. Oh, it's another ablative absolute. With the big part of the day having been spent, cum. Okay, here we go again. When, since, because, with. Well, we've got a preposition after it, not with. When, since, because. Sounds good, but we're going to mark it off because that introduces a new clause. When, since, because, something like that. A prime luce, prepositional phrase. Inside our cum clause. Ad horam octavum, another prepositional phrase. 2 in a row. Wow, that cum clause gets pretty short. And that goes like that. Ad horam octavum, connecting to ad, of course. Pugnaretur. Okay, pugno usually means to fight. And the idea of putting it in the passive is really weird. To be fought? That's strange. Nobody talks like that, but he means the battle was waged. Since the battle was waged, it was being contested or fought. Closing off that clause. When? From first light to the 8th hour. Wow, that's a long battle from the beginning of the day to the 8th hour. Since there, nihil quod, oh, here we are, nihil. Looks like it's probably accusative. And then we've got quod, which of course introduces a relative clause. Ipsis esset indignum. There is the rest of our relative clause. Which, because it's a linking verb. How do we know that? Quod, well, nominative or accusative, but then we have our linking verb, and then another nominative or accusative. So they go together. That's how we know that's the end of that teeny tiny relative clause there. So the main verb is committebant. They were committing, they were doing nothing. And then this whole relative clause talks about the nothing that they were doing. Nothing, which was unworthy to them, which was bad or undignified for a Roman soldier. So Caesar, from the beginning here, he gives us, although they were bothered, conflicted, attacked by so many inconvenient things, with lots of wounds having been accepted, they were resisting, and with a great part of the day having been spent, since from the beginning of the day to the 8th hour, it was being battled, it was being fought, they, the Roman soldiers, were committing or doing nothing which was unworthy, unbefitting to them. So our guys, even though things are going poorly, they still rocked and fought bravely.